Okay, uh, 11 was all about circles. Chapter 10, we are skipping to 10-4, and we are starting to talk about surface area. And we're talking about surface area of two specific types of shapes today, prisms and cylinders. Excuse me. Okay, so before we get started, I just want to explain that surface area is like not the volume. It's not, we're not talking about volume. Volume is all the space inside. Surface area is the area of all of the surfaces. So for example, if you had a box and you wanted to wrap the box, that would be surface area. So you can think of surface area as the equivalent of wrapping a present, and volume would be the actual space for the present. So today we're talking about wrapping. We're talking about this area plus this, the area of this surface plus the area of this surface. Okay, so there's two types of shapes. First type of shape we're talking about are prisms. For CP, you have this paper. A prism is a three-dimensional figure, okay, that has two bases that are both parallel and congruent polygons. So an example of a prism would be a cube, would be a rectangular prism, would be a triangular prism. And how they get these names, rectangular prism versus triangular prism versus hexagonal prism, is they name it by the type of polygon that their bases are. So for example, if you look at here, we have rectangle prisms. I have two examples of rectangular prisms and two examples of triangular prisms. Rectangular prisms means that their base is a rectangle. I misspelled that. And a triangular prism means that their base is a triangle. Okay. So there's lots of different types of prisms. Today we're just going to talk about rectangular and triangular. And we're going to find the surface area. So again, the surface area is the sum of the area of all surfaces or sides. There's a shortcut on the state test. They're going to give you the formula. However, when we take our chapter test, I will not give you the formula. So because I want you to understand that surface area, SA, is equal to the base area, or sometimes areas, plus the lateral area. LA stands for lateral area, not Los Angeles or Louisiana. Okay, so surface area, this is the equation that you will use for all shapes that we're talking about, all shapes except for spheres. So the base area, how to think about that is if we have a rectangular prism, any of these could be bases since they're all parallel. All the opposite sides are parallel and congruent, but I'm just going to say most people like calling the top and the bottom bases. So let's say this is the base. Well, okay. I know that this side is going to be 7, and this side is going to be 9, and the shape of my base is a rectangle. So to find the area of a rectangle, excuse me, is just base times height. So all you're going to have to do is do 7 times 9, and that's 63. However, how many bases do we have? We have one on top and one on bottom. So what you're going to have to do to find the whole base area is you have to then multiply this by 2. So the final base area of this will be, did I just say, sorry, 63 times 2 is 126. And for CP, you might have something a little bit different, but the concepts are still the same. Your process is still the same. So the base area for this shape is going to be 126 feet squared. Now we're done with the bases. We're done with the top and the bottom. Now we have to add up all the sides. And some people will say, okay, well, this side right here is 7 times 14. So they'll find the area of this one, multiply it times 2 since there's one here and one here. However, there's a shortcut to find the lateral area. All right, to find the lateral area, the shortcut is, and again, this works for everything except for, spheres. Lateral area is the perimeter of the base times the height, because if you took this and you cut it open, it would look like this. Okay, and we found the area of the top and the bottom already. This is all lateral area. Okay, this yellow space is all lateral area. And if you think about what this one is, this one would be 14, or the height. If you think about how we could figure out how much this is, if you look at this, it's just a rectangle. Well, this is all the way around the box, right? Because what we did was we cut it open, and then we have the top and the bottom here. So what they do is they find the perimeter of the base. Perimeter means you add up all the sides. So we said that already that this was our base. So to find the lateral area, we're going to find the perimeter of the base and multiply that by the height of the whole object, because that makes this yellow box, which is your lateral area. Okay, so the perimeter of the base. We said this was our base. So what we're going to do is we're going to add up all the sides. So we're going to say 7 plus 9 plus 7 plus 9. Because if you walk all the way around, that's the perimeter. Now the height of this whole thing, here's the base, here's the base. These are for the base, these are for the base. This is the height of the whole thing. So you're going to take 7 plus 9, multiply it by 2, times that by the height, which is 14. And we'll get that the whole lateral area is 448 square feet. Remember when we're talking about area, your answer is always your units has a square by it. Okay. The last thing you're going to have to do is remember surface area is the base area plus the lateral area. So our base area was 126. That's our base area. The lateral area we discovered was 448. So all you have to do is add those up, and that equals the whole surface area. On your homework, we're going to ask you to find the surface area and the lateral area. So you need to know that the lateral area is perimeter of the base times the height. Okay, so here's a question for you guys to do. Find the lateral area and surface area of a cube with edge length 8 centimeters. So if you don't know that, a cube means all sides are congruent to each other. So here's my lovely picture of a cube, and all the sides are going to be 8. 8, 8, and 8. All right, that's what I'm going to do. Triangular prisms. Triangular prisms, as you guess it, their bases are a triangle. So this is my lovely picture. Here's a triangle. Here's a triangle. This is my magic. This is how I do my art, people. Okay, so it says this right triangular prism. So this is a right triangle. Sweet. And the right triangle has side lengths of 3, 4, and 5. Okay, perfect. And the height of the whole thing is 2. So if I connect these vertices, there is my triangular prism, and I know the height of this thing is going to be 2. Okay, so again, surface area is just the base area plus the lateral area. So for the bases, those are the ones that are parallel and congruent, so it has to be the triangles. So here's my base. It's a triangle. To find the area of a triangle, remember that's base times height divided by 2. So in this triangle, we're looking at which ones are perpendicular. That's 3 and 4. That'll be our base and height divided by 2. So the area of this one top triangle is going to be 6. However, we have 2 triangles, right? So what we're going to have to do, that's just the top triangle. We need to add it or multiply it by 2, and our whole base area is going to be 12 centimeters squared. All right, that's base area. So we know the base area is 12. Lateral area. Remember, the lateral area is perimeter of the base times the height of the whole object. So looking still at our base, to find the perimeter, you add up 3 plus 4 plus 5. And then the height, look, we use the 3, we use the 4, we use the 5. The only number left over has to be your height. So you multiply that by 2, and that's going to be your lateral area. So what, we have 12 times 2, 24? Could have done it wrong, but maybe. Okay, so the lateral area is 24. To find the surface area, you add them up, and you get 36 square centimeters. Okay? All right, so honors and CP, you guys are going to try number 4. Find the lateral area and surface area of a right regular triangular prism. I don't know why I wrote right regular. With height 20 and base edges of length 10. Scratch out that. Scratch out right. Okay, honors, you're going to try to do it just a regular triangular prism with a height of 20 and a base edges of length 10 centimeters. So what that means is regular triangle. Regular means all angles are congruent. So and all angles are congruent in a triangle, we have an equilateral triangle. And all the sides are 10. Okay, so we have one on top, one on bottom. There's my lovely bases. And the height's going to be 20. So if you connect all these vertices, and this height is going to be 20. So this part will be 20. All right, so honors, you're going to find the surface area of this lovely triangular prism. And I'll give you a hint. Since we have a 60 triangle, an equilateral triangle, we might have to use a 30, 60, 90 triangle to figure out what the area of the bases are. Okay, for CP for number 4, you have a different problem, and you are going to do that problem on your packet. Okay, so we just figured out the surface area of rectangular prisms and triangular prisms. In the next video, we're going to talk about cylinders, which is easier, so much easier. All right.